Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to yet another fine edition of the podcast, The Way Life Ought to Be. I'm your host, Wayne Kramer. Hope your life is going amazing and you're achieving goals and moving towards your dreams and aspirations at an ever-increasing rate of speed and accomplishing them more than you ever thought was possible. First of all, a few housekeeping items. Thank you for tuning in and listening to and subscribing to the Way Life Ought to Be podcast. Any comments or shares are greatly appreciated. We do have a new Facebook page that's associated with this podcast as well. Feel free to comment there and share how you are moving forward in your life and grabbing hold of the greatness that is within you. And you are living life with the purpose that you are meant to be living it. Today's episode is titled, The Power of the Present. The Power of the Present. And by present, I mean present tense. All too often we dismiss the present. We think, tomorrow, I'll take advantage of the situation that I'm trying to move forward with. Tomorrow I will grab the opportunity. I will do it this afternoon. In a year, next year I'll do it. In the next 5 years, maybe next month. Maybe tonight. Tonight I will get to it. I will get to this later first thing. After I do all of the things that I'm doing right now, I will get to that. But the only problem with not grabbing hold of the incredible power of the present is that we are dismissing the amazing things that can happen when we actually grab hold of the power of the present. Stop denying yourself the growth. Stop making excuses. Stop saying, I will do it tomorrow. Tomorrow might not happen. You might not get tomorrow. Today might be all you have left. The next hour might be all you have left. So grab hold of the opportunities. Grab hold of these seemingly or oftentimes they feel unimportant items and just take them and live them out in the present tense and unleash the power of the present. For example, I had a friend that I knew for about 20 plus years, and he had been through some very heavy life struggles, and we always stayed in contact. And I tried to help him as much as possible, and he helped me a lot more than I could have ever imagined. You know, that's funny when you feel like you're helping someone else, but in the end, it feels like they're doing more for you than you're doing for them. It's just an amazing thing. It comes through giving and sharing and helping and encouraging. It's an incredible thing when that happens. I used to talk to him about life, and we would share with each other. He helped me grow. He helped me get past a lot of obstacles. He was suffering from kidney failure and had been for a number of years, and he had to get dialysis several times per week. And he was in the hospital in St. Paul, Minnesota. Now, at that same time, my wife and I, we were trying to decide whether we should take a massive leap of faith and move our 4 children and ourselves and our dog and my oldest son's reptile pets, too many of which he has, across the entire country. And we were just really torn. And I went to the hospital to visit with my friend Dave, who was in his hospital bed. And on the way, I stopped at a drugstore and I bought a card and an LED candle with a package of batteries to make sure that the light could stay lit for a long time. I told him about our plans. We talked and how we found confirmation from God as we prayed about this possible move. And I said, what do you think, Dave? Do you think we should do this? I don't know. You're older than me and you've lived more years on this earth, so I'm asking for you to impart your wisdom. And he looked at me in his calm, incredible demeanor that he possessed. And he said, Wayne, you have to do this. You won't get another chance. These things don't come around more than once. I didn't have an answer because I quite simply was putting it off in my mind and thinking, if I don't take this opportunity, I will probably get the next opportunity. But that is not the case in many, many situations in our lives. If we miss the opportunity, oftentimes it is gone and it does not return. This particular story also has another fold to it, and that I went to see him and I gave him a hug and we talked and our eyes welled up with tears, and I told him that the candle with the flicker of the light would always be there to remind him of the hope that he has a future and the hope that he has in God. There are some things in life we don't get a second chance at. In fact, I would go so far to say most things we do not get a second chance at. Each and every day and each and every minute, each and every hour, every year, we are all presented with opportunities that if we do not take advantage of them and seize them, they simply go away. Or I technically believe go to someone else to fulfill. See, I believe God gets done what he wants to get done, whether we listen or not. About a year later, after we had moved across America into our new home, our new life with our children, our new neighborhood, our new church, new job, etc., all changed. Transformative change. I had come home from work one evening and I received a call from a number that I did not recognize from St. Paul, and I just knew in my spirit what that call was about. Dave was one of the finest men that I've ever known. From simply an acquaintance to 20-plus years of pouring into each other through countless hours of conversation and encouraging each other, praying for each other, I saw the missed call. I walked outside of my house because we have 4 children and it can be a bit crazy sometimes. I dialed the number in the driveway next to my truck in the dark, and I waited for it to ring. And I knew it was coming. His daughter answered. Her voice was shaking, and she said that her father had passed away. I paused, and time stood still as it almost always does when we are confronted with our own mortality, and we realize with crystal clear clarity that life is a fleeting gift. She shared with me that after her father had passed away, she went into his bedroom and she found the card next to his bed that I gave him before I moved away. And she said the candle was still lit and that he had looked at it every single night and talked about it and how it gave him hope. Words cannot accurately express how much hearing that actually meant to me. I was able to share light and hope to him, even though I couldn't be there. And I believe we all have that ability, and I believe we all can encourage and love each other and share hope and faith, even though sometimes we are not able to be there. What are some things that we need to do in the present? What opportunities are we not grabbing hold of in the present? Our future largely is being built in the present. The future doesn't just show up one day and align itself in perfect order. The actions we are taking right now, this very day, in this very minute, this moment, the present that we're living in, that is what determines the future of our lives and, quite frankly, the lives of those around us. The power of the present is one of the greatest forces of any kind. When we decide to grab hold of life right now, where we stand, it holds a power that is incredible. It can separate life and death. The power of the present can change the trajectory of an entire relationship, a country, a church, a marriage, etc. Simply grasping the present and taking hold of an opportunity and giving it life can have changes that will reverberate for eternity. And I mean that in the literal sense. I will see my friend Dave again, just not here on earth. We will sit, we will talk, and we will share. The point of that story is just to show that things come to mind. We have things that show up in our life, and if we do not choose to take action that very day, that very moment, at that point in time, those opportunities sometimes do not come back around. Oftentimes, a missed opportunity can lead to a lifetime of regret, not just relationally, but economically, financially, or a lot of different areas of our life. There's many times where we're confronted, we're at a crossroad, bam, we have to make a decision. We have to either move and grab the opportunity and step into our own fears and past them, or not move forward. Now, I don't want anyone listening to this podcast that has lost a loved one or missed an opportunity to say goodbye to someone to feel as if they didn't do the right thing, because there's a lot of times where we just simply cannot be somewhere that we would have liked to have been. And that's okay. What we're living right now is in the present. So let's look where we're at right today. Let's not let the past dictate our present or our future. To get to the greatest future is to grab hold and ascribe the value to the present that it so richly deserves. As redundant as that sounds, my friends, because grabbing hold of the present right now is about as redundant as it could ever be. We must act, and we must act immediately. It is not enough to think about doing it. It's simply not enough. Thoughts are what precedes action. A simple step would be, if you're thinking about someone right now during this podcast, if someone is coming to your mind, don't miss the opportunity to act. Drive to a drugstore, buy a card, send a text, make a phone call, stop in and make a visit. Take time out of your busy day and just go there and do it. It's the power of the present. Action in the present makes all the difference in the world. When we decide to take that step, we need to do it with an elite assassin-like decisive movement. Because let's be honest, discouragement comes quick and often like a knife, and it does not miss. It doesn't miss, man. Discouragement is everywhere. Encouragement is not. So the least we can do is to counter it as effectively as possible. So on this Valentine's Day 2020, if you can believe it's 2020, that's cray-cray, man. What? I know, it's insanity. I do not know. It's crazy. Sometimes I feel like the year that I'm living in is about 10 years past where I am actually at. I mean, 2009 sounds pretty modern still, right? To me it does anyway. But what can you do to take actions this very day? This very day that can change your tomorrow in a significant way. What dreams or opportunities can you grab hold of and start working on today? Today! Seize the day! Seize the day. Grab the opportunity and run. Maybe it's a good idea to sit down and take some quiet time for yourself and make a list of things that you've been putting off. I do this periodically, and I get done writing my list and I'm like, whoa, oh my goodness, I'm doing nothing. And just start. Full transparency, that's how this podcast began. I thought I need to move on and start now. Right today, now. The time for talk is over. The time for banter is over. It is time to act now. Preparation can only last so long. Most people in this world spend their entire lives preparing over and over and over again. I mean, come on, man. How prepared do you have to be? Well, I'd like to go visit them in the hospital, but I'm going to wait until the sun is just at the right angle and the clouds are lined in just the right way, and then I'll get in my car and it will be incredible. You might not get that chance. Bottom line. I'm going to grab that job opportunity as soon as I am ready. It will align, the stars will align, and out of the heavens will fall golden flakes that will give me confirmation of my move. It will be simply amazing. Or you will just miss the opportunity. More than likely, you will miss the opportunity that you did not grab in the present tense. The power of the present. Make it sound like a tractor pull commercial on TV. I don't know if you've heard those commercials, but they're always like, Sunday, 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 Sunday. This Sunday only. You need to think of the present tense with that type of authority and that type of action and that type of decisiveness, an assassin-like elite, knife-like movement, and go grab it. Don't miss it. It will leave you. We are on a time continuum that is called life, and we do not get to control the pace of our life. The clock is ticking, man. And if you don't start to grab these things and take ownership of them and breathe life into them, a lot of times they go away. So what do we do to take advantage of the present and grab the power that the present holds? What are some actionable steps that we can take? Make a list. Check it twice. We're going to find out who's naughty or nice. Okay, that's not true. That's a whole different subject, different holiday, whatever. Make a list. Be honest. And figure out what you're not taking action on that you can take action on starting right now. Begin. Stop preparing and start acting. Take a step forward, put one foot in front of the other, and move into the future while you are in the present. I was listening to a speaker, and he was talking about how when we look at our life and we realize that there will be an end point in our life, sometimes it's good to start at the end and write our own history of our life. How do you want people to view you when your life is over? How would you like your obituary to read? I'm not trying to be dark in this podcast, but I'm being honest. Let's call a spade a spade. Let's be real here. How would you like it to read? Would you like to have a life full of regrets when you're older and not able to make these choices anymore? When, say, that you could be bedridden, you could be in a hospital bed. Would you like to be weighted down with regrets, or would you like to think back and realize, I chose to live. I grabbed life and I lived it. And I moved it forward, and I did what I had to do, and I did what was my purpose in this world, and I stepped out when I was supposed to step out, and I did not lie back and wait and prepare forever. I did. I acted. I took control of the power of the present whenever possible. It's very important on this Valentine's Day 2020 that we ask ourselves these questions. What are we not doing that we should be doing? And we realize this day, right now, that you're living, happens one time. One time. Valentine's Day 2020 will occur one time. That is it. It doesn't occur again. It is a single event in history. And we are living it today. So you still have time. That's the good news. You've got time. You've got time to grab opportunities and to begin to change your future by simply changing your present and taking those steps and walking into that growth. So be encouraged, my friends. If you're hearing this podcast and you're walking, talking, breathing, riding a subway, driving your car, sitting on a bus, sitting at a park, on a bench, at a lake, at an ocean, in a plane, wherever you may be while you're listening to this podcast, realize if you're listening, the present is still available to you. The present is now. The time for change, the time for stepping out, the time for growth is now. It is right now, and you are blessed because you have the present available to you. So let us never forget the power of the present and grab onto it as much as possible during this gift that we all enjoy called life. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode, if you will, of The Way Life Ought to Be. The power of the present. Please subscribe, share, comment, review. Help me grow this podcast. I want to share hope and encouragement with as many people as possible. We have a Facebook page that's also associated with The Way Life Ought to Be podcast. Please feel free to comment and share. Write down things that you're trying to do in your life, changes that you're trying to make, goals that you have, and let's encourage each other to grow. I hope you all have an incredible, incredible day. Thank you for tuning in to The Way Life Ought to Be. God bless.